Hi, everyone. My name is Tiff, and I am the behavior manager at the Humane Society of Western Montana, and I'm also a certified professional dog trainer. If you've tuned in with us before, you know all of this, but I always like to introduce myself in case there are new people watching this live stream today. And as always, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch these live streams. I hope you will walk away with a lot of useful tips. So today's topic is people skills, or how to socialize your puppy with people, or what skills to work on so that your puppy grows up to be comfortable and appropriate around people. This is such an important topic because when a dog is not great with people, and you can interpret that however you want, it leads to a lot of challenges. And working both as a trainer and also as a manager in a shelter, I've seen all sides of how dogs can be difficult to be around people, and it makes for some hard times and sad stories all around. But those of you starting with puppies, you are at the helm of helping them develop into canine citizens that will be safe and comfortable and happy around people. So what we're going to do in today's live stream is we are going to I'm first going to just talk about some things like, what does socialization with people look like? What is the big picture? And then we will go into some specific exercises. And if you have a puppy with you, you can absolutely work on these skills together with me. And when we work on skills, I'm going to divide it into skills for puppies that are very confident, like starting off confident, and then tips for puppies who are just a little more cautious about approaching things in the world, because the approach is different and the outcomes are different too. As always, if you have any questions along the way, especially for such a complex and important topic like socialization with people, please enter your questions in the comments section, and I will be watching the comments along the way, and I will try to answer as many questions as I can. If there are questions that I don't get to, or if you have questions after this live stream, I'm going to provide contact information at the end so that you can reach me and my behavior team at any time, and we are always happy to help. So let's get started. Let me talk pretty briefly about what socialization looks like, and specifically with the scope for your puppy's interactions with people. So I said this before in the socialization live stream, but it cannot be overstated. Socialization does not make your puppy more social. So the process of socialization refers to the period of development when your puppy is between 4 to 16 weeks of age, though a lot of experts think that this window actually closes at 12 weeks of age, and every puppy is different. It's not like they tell you. So between 8 to 12 weeks and 8 to 16 weeks, you just need to work as hard as you can to socialize. That period of development is a stage where your puppy's brain is literally growing differently, and the neurons in their brain are wiring in different ways compared to when they are 4 months to 6 months of age. And what a puppy experiences between 4 to 16 weeks of age can determine their adult personality in ways that cannot be altered later on. That's how important it is. And basically, what a puppy experiences in a positive or neutral way in this socialization period teaches them what is safe and what is normal in the world. Everything new that they experience after that period can potentially be deemed as strange and scary because it wasn't exposed to them in a positive way when they were young. So that's socialization, the big picture of socialization. And then now let's look at socialization with people specifically. And I've done this chart before, but I just want to bring it up again because it's so important, because there is this hope, right, that no matter if puppies are a moldable ball of clay, let's just, get friends and neighbors and family interacting with my puppy, and voila, my puppy will grow up to be sociable enough with people, right? Unfortunately, that is not always the case, because socialization gives you one part of the picture, but genetics and how you raise your puppy gives you the other part. So, well, how you raise your puppy is socialization and training. So genetics determines the other part. So I've done this before, but here is just an example. The big question is, how will my puppy behave around people now and when they grow up into bigger, stronger adult dogs? So, and I just want to state that I am oversimplifying here. This is not linear. There are lots of branching scales that would pop off of this, like how's my puppy with babies? How's my puppy with kids? How's my puppy with people when I'm eating? And, you know, all of that. So this is, it's not just this, but this is just the easiest way for me to visually show it to you. So here's a scale. The scale is 1 to 10. On 1 is extreme fear or even aggression. You know, if your puppy or dog is lunging or biting people or trembling and hiding or extremely reactive because they're just so afraid, that's not very sociable with people. 5 is in the middle. You know, the dog, your dog may not, or your puppy may not care about people. They may approach and sniff some and then walk away. They're very playful with you, but other people, strangers are, you know, can take it or leave it. No big issues. 10 is hypersocial. Like, oh my gosh, I want to be friends with everyone. I might be lunging and barking because I really want to go say hi to people. I can't take no for an answer. And I'm jumping all over you because I am just crazy about people, right? So let's take this scale. And those of you watching right now, I want you to just envision, where is my puppy on the scale right now? Knowing that, like, let's say your puppy is a 5, it doesn't mean they're a 5 forever. And maybe one day they're a 4. And then later that evening, they are a 6, right? So it's not static, but just in general, think about, where is my puppy right now, right? And here's what genetics does. Your puppy is born not as a blank slate. So let's say I have a puppy that is just a little fearful in general because the parents were fearful, or they grew up in a barn when they've never experienced everything except their barn. So here's my puppy's window, this puppy that I'm talking about. Right? So this is my puppy's potential. It doesn't matter how, like, if I'm the best trainer in the world and I've socialized this puppy from 4 to 16 weeks of age with 1,000 people, my puppy will never be more social than this, because genetics, right? Genetics determine that the puppy that I selected is just not ever going to be a super social puppy. Now, that puppy can be this, right? We don't want that puppy to be extremely fearful or aggressive. But the potential is there if I don't socialize my puppy appropriately. And I'm going to socialize to the best of my ability, and my puppy is right here. So, you know, more than neutral, less than hypersocial. That's a great place for any dog to be. So if I had that puppy, I'd be thrilled. Now, if I didn't socialize because I'm keeping my puppy only in my house and my yard until they're 16 weeks of age and vaccinated, and they've only met the people of my home, I could get this. And then, you know, you get out there with a 4-month-old puppy and they're growling at strangers. It's really hard to modify here. And then even when they're older, maybe you can only get to about here now because the window is missed. And then the other, let's take another example. Let's say I have a very like wiggly, I always say golden retriever puppy, stereotyping. And here is their genetic potential. Let's say here. Right? So for that puppy, that's a different puppy. Even if I lock the puppy in my closet from 4 to 16 weeks of age and never expose it to anyone, the worst it can get with people is here. Because genetically, this oh, sorry, that was really bad. You couldn't see any of it. Genetically, this golden retriever puppy who is super wiggly, like you met the breeder and the parents, and the puppy just ran into your lap immediately, even if you didn't socialize well, I mean, okay, it's a little less than aloof. It's a little fearful, but it's not going to get to here. And then if you socialize a lot, it might even get to here. Like, oh, my puppy is just so wiggly and a little too much sometimes, right? So you can see, all I'm trying to show here is that there are some things that are already set in motion for you, just based on the puppy you pick, based on their genetics, which you actually can't know, right? But there are some things we can change. So whatever your puppy's potential is, you can change it right now because your puppy is between 4 to 16 weeks of age. And here's how you're going to maximize their potential. Okay, so I'm just going to pause for 1 second because my Facebook looks a little frozen, and I'm just going to refresh it real quick just so if there are any questions that come up, I can answer them along the way. I'm going to try to do 2 things at once. So with that in mind, And this everything I just showed you applies to dogs, like how social will your puppy be with dogs, etc. All right, here we go. Okay, looks good. Okay, onwards we go. Let's talk about specific things you can do. Like, how do you socialize your puppy with people so that you maximize their potential? The first thing I want you to think about is, again, let's go back to this. Where is your puppy on the scale now? Let's say my puppy is here. Like let's say my puppy is just a little fearful sometimes, takes their time to approach people, but with familiar friends, they're here. So they're kind of bouncing around here like the golden retriever puppy. Your puppy may be largely confident. And if your puppy is kind of bouncing around here, like, oh, loves some people, super hyper with the family, but a little cowering and retreating, doesn't want strangers to pet it, it's about here. Like I said earlier, I'm going to split the training exercises today to cover skills for puppies that are more confident and puppies that are more cautious or fearful. Understanding that it's fluid and that all puppies are individuals, and I completely understand they can be fearful with people and then confident in 2 minutes, or fearful with all strangers and very confident with family members. Just wherever your puppy is in that moment, you choose the skills per the sections I'm going to give you. Okay, so let's start with confident puppy, because I do truly think most puppies in this world are mostly confident. And I'm going to pull this up. I'm just going to refer to this throughout today's live stream. So let's say your puppy is extremely confident. Like, okay, maybe it startled a little bit at the big man who came out wearing a big trench coat, but then most people, they are just very excited to meet or immediately approaches or befriends quickly. So you're about here in the scale. But let's look at 10 really quick, because I want you to think about, what do I want my puppy to do when they grow up? What kind of dog do I want my puppy to be? Do I have lots of kids coming in and out of my house? Do I need my puppy to be very calm? Do I want my puppy to say hi to everyone as I walk down the street? Although it might sound like 10 is so much better than 1, which from a safety perspective, maybe yes, I don't think many people in the world want the 10. Like the dog that is mauling people with love and like biting at your arms because, oh my God, I can't wait to play with you, right? So even though I'm a trainer, I don't want a 10. I'm not socializing for a 10. I'm socializing for like, I don't know, a 6 or a 7. I want my puppy to like people and be confident around people, but not lunge and bark because they go crazy at wanting to go towards everyone, right? So the skills that we're going to work on not only help your puppy learn to feel confident about people, but they also teach appropriate behaviors, no matter where on the spectrum they fall. All right, so we're starting with confident puppy. What you're going to need to follow along are some of your puppy's kibble, so you can use their dinner, and a leash. And let's go get our puppies and let's go get some treats or kibble. I'll say treats, but I'm using kibble, so you know what I mean. All right, Paya, are you ready? This is Paya. If you've never met her, she is 5 to 6 months old, so older puppy, but she's been my demo dog for this entire time. All right. She is always ready. That's what I love about her. I'm just gonna get my kibble ready. And this is just her dinner. I'm gonna put it in a little treat pouch. If you don't have a treat pouch, super useful. Okay, and I don't need a leash for the first one. These are gonna be super simple exercises, because when your puppy is working in the world with people or meeting people, I know from experience, even though I'm a trainer, I don't want to jump into a 10-minute training session, right? I want to talk to the person. I want to live my life. So all the exercises I chose are incredibly simple. And the first exercise is a sit. And I know we've talked about sit so much in many other live streams, and that just emphasizes how important of a skill this is. Because if your puppy is very confident, and if they are not sitting, they can be doing other things like jumping on people or running away, or, running. We should let them run away if they want to from the person. But still, sit is such a useful skill. It allows your puppy to interact with the person, but in an appropriate way. So not only are they getting socialization, but they are also practicing appropriate behaviors.
honestly, at the end of the day, if your puppy runs up to people and jumps up on them, it is absolutely not the end of the world. And it's super cute, right? I love it when that happens. But if you have a puppy that's going to grow up to be 60 pounds, 100 pounds, you should start thinking about how you want them to greet people now. Because whatever behaviors they practice now, they can very well continue to practice as they grow older. She likes to lick her butt a lot. So every live stream where we have a clip of this, it is okay. Hiya, you ready? You had all the time in there to do that, but you just want to show everyone. So if your puppy doesn't know how to sit, we did luring before. You just hold a treat in front of their nose and slowly move it back over their head. Good. And then mark or say good, and then give them a treat when they're sitting. But even if your puppy isn't great at following the lure, you can always teach a puppy to sit. Every puppy in the world will sit at some point in their lives. So what you can also do is capture the behavior. So what that looks like is just when you're standing there with your puppy, just stand there calmly. And I can almost guarantee that within a minute, they're probably going to offer a sit. And if your puppy is prone to running off, you can always keep them on a leash. I'm not using the leash to make her sit. I'm just preventing her from, wandering into the next room. So I'm just going to stand around a little bit. Good. So without asking her, she sits because like I said, all dogs will offer a sit, and you're going to say good and give your puppy a treat for that behavior. Good. And if your puppy is remaining sitting, you can give them a treat for that behavior. Even though today I'm working in my living room, and I assume you guys are working in your houses too, good. This is how you apply this in socialization settings. Let's say you go to a park and there are kids playing in the playground and there are people walking on the path. So you might think socialization means let my puppy go up to them. Not necessarily. You can just work right off the edge of the path, and good, reward your puppy for sitting. So as people are walking by, like let's say your puppy is curious, let them sniff the grass. There are bikers going down the bike path. Just hang out. Good. And you're just playing this fun game with your puppy. Give them a treat for sitting. Move around a little bit. Let them sniff some more. And then when you stop somewhere further down the trail, you pause a little bit, let them explore, and then good. And she's scratching, but she's still sitting. So give them a treat for sitting. Now let's walk a little more. Let's move around. And I can practice this in my living room like I'm doing right now, but just imagine we're at a park. Oh, there goes a person. They're going by. Good job for sitting, even though that person is going by. I'm not saying never let people pet your dog, right? But even so, let's say someone says, what a cute puppy. Can I pet her? And your puppy, let's say, is confident and loves people. You can say, sure, let me just wait for her to sit first. And maybe puppy is excited, right? Oh, I want to go say hi. Go say hi. And I'm just going to say, please give me a moment. Good. Thank you for sitting. Here is a treat. Go say hi to the person. She knows what go say hi means, which is why she gets so excited. So see how in real life, this doesn't mean you go outside and train for 15 minutes. It just means here and there, you're just good. Thank you for sitting. Let's go sniff somewhere. Good. Thank you for sitting. Go say hi to a person. So not only are you socializing your puppy in a world full of distractions, but you're also teaching them great skills along the way, so that when they grow up to be 80 pounds, not only are they comfortable just working around people, but they also know, oh, there's a person. I know exactly what to do. I need to sit. What a great skill. So, and how you apply it, like what I just showed you, can be really helpful too. So sit is a great skill. Let's talk about another way for your puppy to interact with people. So let's say you have a very, very social and confident puppy, and even though they sit really nicely, when they come up to a person, they're just all over them. Let's say like jumping on them or biting their pant legs, because puppies and mouthing, we have a live stream for that. And you want your puppy to greet people more appropriately, but you still want them to interact with people. So here's what you do. Let's say someone says, hey, can I please pet your puppy? What you can do is you can say, sure, I'm going to scatter some food on the ground so that she doesn't jump up on you, and just do that. So I just have 6 pieces of food, scatter, and oh, what a cute puppy. I'm going to pet the puppy, and look at where my puppy's attention is, on the ground, not jumping up on me. And usually for a lot of puppies, by the time they finish eating a little treat scatter, they are just a lot calmer and they are less likely to jump up on a person. One caveat to this, if your puppy guards food, like if your puppy doesn't like it when people touch them while they're eating, do not do this version for obvious reasons. So again, let's say I'm the stranger, I want to pet the puppy. You as the owner would say, I would love for you to pet my puppy, but let me scatter some food so that she doesn't jump up on you. And they're going to say, I love dogs, I don't care. You can say, well, I care. So here's the food scatter. And the stranger pets the puppy. Look at the tail go. So happy. Being handled by strangers, right? Because that is important to a degree. And then by the time she's done, she has already been touched by me, so she's not as crazy for it. And it can just get your puppy over the hump of that crazy initial greeting. You can practice this with your puppy right now, just as I'm doing, because I know like she doesn't jump up on me. She used to, and I use these very same skills to teach my puppy not to jump up on me. Even though today, the focus of today's live stream is not no jumping, this is still really helpful for teaching appropriate behaviors. So all you do is you take like 5, 6 pieces of their food, you sprinkle it, and then you gently pet your puppy. Again, if your puppy is not comfortable, if their tail goes down, if they're growling at you, if they're trying to move away from you, do not pet them. And you can let me know. I can help you with a different skill instead. And we will do different skills too. What a good girl. Yeah. Okay. If you have a mouthy puppy, this is really good too, right? Because it can teach them, hey, when a human touches you, don't mouth my hands. Get the treats on the ground instead. Okay. Only do that, the belly taps, if your puppy likes it. My puppy clearly likes it. Okay. I don't see any questions in the comment. Oh, yes, a great question. Do we have a stream specifically for jumping? Yes, we've covered that topic already. I can't remember if it was a puppy one or a behavior spotlight, which applies to puppies and adult dogs. But if you look in our Facebook videos section, you will find it. And we also are trimming the videos and posting them on YouTube. So it may or may not already be on our YouTube channel as well, which is just HSWM. Great question. Okay, here's another tip. And this is a little more, this is for if your puppy is just really, really likes jumping on people, even past that initial greeting. You're going to lure them to the side. And I've done this with my dogs for myself too, so that they don't jump up on me. Again, emphasizing that this allows your puppy to greet people, but you're not only socializing them with people and making it a positive experience, you are having them perform appropriate behaviors as well. So what you do is, and you know, I am the stranger and the owner here, so it's a little confusing, I suppose. You're going to practice first the Pez dispense. So we're going to use this treat delivery method. Ready, Paya? So here's the food. 1, 2. All I'm doing is I have a small handful of food. I dropped one. And what you're going to practice real quick with your puppy is giving them one piece at a time. So what this method of treat delivery does is it doesn't give them a ton of food at once, but it prolongs the period where you are rewarding them with food. So it can keep their attention longer. So I dropped another one, 6 pieces of kibble right now. And look at how long I can stretch this. I just dropped it. I'm just dropping all the treats today. It's because I'm watching the screen to make sure I'm on screen. That was just 6 pieces of kibble. There we go. That was 6 pieces of kibble, or 5 because I dropped one of them. And what you're going to do with this Pez dispense treat delivery is you're going to keep your puppy's attention and lure them to the side when greeting people. So let's say I'm a stranger, I want to pet my puppy, and without any interventions, my puppy's all over me. You as the owner can say, can I pet your puppy? You can say, sure you can. She's just so hyper. I'm going to give her treats while you pet her to keep her from jumping on you, prevent her from jumping on you. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the treat and you're going to lure to the side, right? So just the person wants to pet your puppy. When they do this, your puppy's going to jump and bop them in the face. So sideways. And as the person is petting, you're going to do the Pez dispense. If you have another family member at home, you can practice right now. Like if someone was sitting at the couch you can say, or you can practice luring them to the side as the person sitting on the couch pets them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. And or if you can do 2 hands at once, you can practice. Your puppy is staring at you. They're thinking of biting your hands. You're going to lure to the side and pet them. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay. All right. So when you orient your dog to the side like this, 1, they are less likely to jump up because this is not a good position for them to jump up on someone. If they jump, it's going to be that way. 2 is it teaches an appropriate greeting. I had an older dog. I had a dog previously who loved people, and he was like 65 to 75 pounds, depending on how old he was. Had him for 12 and a half years, and he at first jumped up on people. And you don't want a 70-pound dog jumping on a person, because even if they're friendly, they can hurt someone by accident. So I did this with him. And then if a stranger wanted to interact with him, you would see him just go and just lean against their legs, which honestly 70 pounds leaning against your legs is still can be a little much, but a lot more appropriate, and people can pet them. And of course, when your puppy grows older, you don't need to do the treats and all of that. This is just to teach the behavior now, so you don't need to even worry about jumping up later. Okay, I'll do one more. I'll do the other way. So we're already on my left hand now. So puppy is facing the person. They really want to greet the stranger. You're just gonna, you're working with your puppy. You're luring them to the side of the person, and then the person can pet. And your pet is dispensing those treats so that your puppy is getting that social interaction that they want, but in an appropriate way. Okay. All right, I don't see any other questions so far, so onwards we go. And the last technique I want to show you, and again, this is for puppies that are confident and really, really want to say hi to people. Do not do any of this if your puppy is cautious or fearful. So this last one is leash stepping. We've covered this before. I think this is also in the jumping one. But what you're going to do is you're going to have your puppy on leash because you're on a walk or you're in your neighborhood, and let's say your neighbor wants to pet your puppy, but you are worried that your puppy is going to jump up on them. And let's say you forgot your treats, which you shouldn't do, but we're all human. I've done it before too. You're going to find the point at which the leash touches the ground, and you're going to step on it. And I'm just going to give my puppy treats. Especially if your puppy is younger than my puppy, so they're new, you've only had them for a month or a few days or a few weeks, what you want to do is you want to step on the leash and start rewarding them to get them used to the idea that they don't have space to move anymore. Notice she can stand, right? I'm not trying to pin my puppy to the ground. But I just want, if she just tried to jump up, see how she can't jump up, luring her with a piece of food, and she's trying to get it, but she can't. This is like the puppy trying to jump up on someone and they can't. So we're, just to be clear, we're not correcting behavior. We are preventing the ability to jump up. And always you want to show them that this is a positive thing, not a negative thing. So again, if you're just practicing so that you can use this effectively in the future, all you need to do is step on the leash and then just feed your puppy, Pez dispense a few treats. Or you can combine step on the leash with treat scatter. Your puppy just needs to get used to this. If you still have a puppy that's so new to the leash that they fight it, like they're trying to back out and they're flailing whenever that leash goes on, do not do this exercise yet. And go to our handling live stream, which we've done already, because I covered how to teach your puppy to not fight that leash. So yeah, I can do whatever I want on leash to my dogs, and you can see how happy they are. Yeah, I can drag them around and it looks like, oh, that person's dragging her dog around, but my dogs love being dragged around because of all the work I put in. I think it's under the leash skills live stream. I might have done it twice, but we have covered this skill. All right, so again, just to reiterate, this technique is great for, let's say you're walking in the park, your puppy is just so thrilled to be out, they see all these people, they already are sociable, but you don't want them to be hyper social or inappropriate. So as a person is walking too closely by the path, or if a person wants to pet your puppy and you're worried about jumping, you're just going to restrict their space just enough that they can't jump up, but they can still stand, they can still be pet by the person, they can still get treats, all of that. Okay, we're going to move on. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments section. And we're going to move on to fearful puppy or cautious puppy, because fearful is just such a huge label. And let me just describe some behaviors that I would use for a puppy that I would put in this category. If your puppy really doesn't want to have anything to do with people outside of the home, if when a person tries to pet your puppy, they're kind of hide behind your legs, or they and then back up, lunging, growling, barking in fearful ways, not excitable ways. When people offer their hand, your puppy shies back or runs away. If that describes your puppy, do these techniques. Do not do any of the other techniques that I just showed you, because all the other techniques are very handsy. And the number one thing that your puppy should not be exposed to if they are a little cautious or fearful is forced petting. You might think, okay, my puppy's fearful, I just need more people to pet her to show her that it's safe. Do not do that, because that may actually cause more fear or aggression issues in the future. And you might think, well, socialization, right? Exposure, 8 to 12 weeks, 8 to 16 weeks of age, exposure. And I need to emphasize the other part of socialization that's important, which is the quality of the exposure. If the exposure that your puppy is getting is not positive, that is teaching them something completely different. So we do not want that to happen. So this is the hardest thing. The hardest thing about living with a puppy that is a little cautious or fearful is everyone wants to pet your puppy. So really the techniques are easy. The hardest thing is communicating to the people, please don't pet my puppy, right? But I'm going to show you how. The first thing to do is to let your puppy have freedom of choice. So I do not want to step on the leash. I don't want to trap my puppy. If a stranger wants to pet my puppy and my puppy's cautious, she wants to go sniff the tree instead, let her go sniff the tree. And just explain to the person, hey, my puppy's a little shy. She doesn't like being touched. And I don't care what that person says. You stand up for your puppy and let your puppy go at their own pace. Now, after explaining that, what you can have people do, if they follow instructions well, is treat toss. So I want you to show them what to do, because humans are smart, but they really want to pet the puppy. I want you to model the behavior for them, just like what I'm doing for you. As you're holding your puppy's leash, you're going to tell them, my puppy doesn't want to be touched, but she loves treats. Can you toss my puppy some treats? I'm going to put some in your hand, and can you just toss her one at a time, like this? Just like that. I need a little bit more kibble. The stranger might think you're, being a little condescending, like I know how to throw food at dogs, right? But I want you to show it to them, because this is how humans learn best too. Why treat toss? Why not just say, give my puppy some treats? I wish I had a GoPro strapped to my chest for all of my lessons, because I will bet money. I will bet a lot of money that if you give the stranger some treats to give to your puppy, this is what they're going to do. Hey, puppy. Oh, hi, puppy, right? And they're going to just pet your puppy while feeding them treats. And, Kaya is confident. She doesn't care. But what you see with dogs or puppies that are a little fearful is they take the treat and they kind of shy away when the hand is coming, but they really want the treat, so they stay right there. And then the stranger's happy because they get to feed the treats to the puppy. They got to touch the puppy. You might feel happy because your puppy didn't do anything bad or worrisome. But what's worrisome is how that affects your puppy's perspective about people over time. If your puppy is fearful or cautious of people, this does not teach them to like people more. This teaches them, oh, I really want treats from people, but when they give me treats, they touch me and they're conflicted and there's a lot of stress here. And as they grow older, this can turn into a dog who takes treats from people and then starts growling all of a sudden, or takes treats from people and then snaps at them, right? I mean, I answer behavior helpline calls. This happens all the time. You're not going to see, this is the thing about socialization that's so hard. You're not going to see the full effects when your puppy is 4 months of age or even 6 months of age. You're going to see the full extent of your efforts when your puppy is 1 year of age or even 2 years of age if your puppy is a giant or large breed who matures more slowly. So this seems harmless now, and for some dogs it is harmless, right? But you want to stack the odds in your favor, and it is harmless to tell people, please don't pet my puppy, toss her treats instead, just like this. So what the tossing does is kind of like how sit is an incompatible behavior to jumping. Like if a dog is sitting, they can't be jumping. If a person is occupied with tossing treats using both their hands, they cannot be petting your cautious puppy. Right, so treat toss, very, very important. There is one more thing for fearful puppies, because handling from strangers, again, is important to an extent, like for vet care and stuff. Though if my dogs go their entire lives without being touched by a stranger, I can promise you their lives are not any worse. So I want to show you one more thing, and I'm going to put her away, and I'm going to show you this last tip for fearful or cautious puppies. So I always do this, but I'm going to get a little treat for her. Oh, so good. Yeah. Girl. Okay. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video, and I need a disclaimer. This video is a cat video. I browsed through a lot of my videos with the time that I had today, and I just don't have a good one of dogs and people, probably because when a dog is fearful, I don't start pulling out my phone and recording it. I'm usually telling people what to do so that the dog is no longer fearful. But even though this is a cat video, everything that I talk about in this video applies to puppies. Where's the video? And the other important thing is these are hard cats. These are cats that have bitten people and have been surrendered for aggression towards people. And working in a shelter, I can tell you that if your puppy or dog, or I shouldn't say if a puppy or a dog has issues with people, it's really, it causes a lot of heartache. And it's really hard for those people with those dogs living in our community, because there are people everywhere, right? Even if we say, please don't pet our dogs, someone might pop out around a corner, who knows? So it's so great if you're going to take steps today to help with socializing your puppy around people. So here is the cat video, and I'm going to make sure my volume is on. I'm going to show you parts of this. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna go back to that real quick because this applies. Just replace the word cat with puppy, and it's exactly the same. When the puppy is soliciting attention by rubbing, some puppies do rub against people, by sniffing a person or coming up to them, hold your hand out. Don't do this into their face, like the camera, right? Imagine you're the puppy and here's the stranger. How scary is that? And that's why a lot of puppies have this response. Instead, hold your hand out to the side and instruct strangers to do this. Show it to them so that the puppy can choose to go to the hand rather than the hand coming to them.
I'm going to pause right there because that's so important. People think that any dog coming up to them wants to be pet, and that is absolutely not true. And so when a dog or even a cat sniffs me, I don't immediately go from sniff me to pet you, right? That's such a huge shift. It's like if a stranger was talking to you and you think, oh, they're standing close to me, I'm just going to hug them real quick. That's really jarring for any dog or cat that is not inherently going to just enjoy that kind of physical attention. So sniff, if a puppy is sniffing, your cautious slash fearful puppy is sniffing a stranger, don't tell them, please let her sniff you, but don't pet her. And you're going to have to show it to them because they're not going to understand this because they want to pet your puppy. But let the puppy sniff the stranger. And if the stranger can follow directions and just not pet the puppy, guess what? Your puppy is more likely to want to be pet by them compared to if the stranger pushed it onto them. So onwards we go. And I'm going to pause again because that's the next theme. Pet a little bit and then stop, right? So not only do a lot of people misinterpret a puppy approaching the sniff as a sign for attention, but we get excited about puppies. I love puppies. I love smushing their faces. I'll do it to my puppy, not to your puppy. And they're going to be like, oh, puppy, and, petting, and we're always on top of them, right? So pet a little bit and then stop. You can even tell people, hey, my puppy, the overhand is scary. Try a little bit of, scratching their chest. Scratch their chest for a second and stop, and then pause. Let the puppy walk away. Let the puppy take a break, then let the puppy come back. I'm going to fast forward here because in this video is another cat, which I show exactly what I just said. That was a stop signal. This cat has bitten multiple people, and here I am petting her. And if you know how to read your puppy's body language, you're going to see that dogs communicate in subtle ways. When a puppy grows up to be the kind of dog that's snapping and lunging at people, they've learned that people don't see their subtle signs, the slight tuck, the move away, the look away, the what is your hand doing there look, because people just keep petting because the puppy's not growling or biting at them yet, right? And then when people ignore those signals, and when you as the owner do not step in to give your puppy a break if the stranger doesn't understand, that's how fear and aggression issues develop in dogs. So even with cats, and just as it's the same with puppies, we need to help them out a little bit by giving them the choice to move to a person or to move away. We need to feel comfortable with explaining to strangers, sometimes, please don't pet my puppy. We need to give strangers the right way to interact with your puppy. And we just need to have positive reinforcement like treats and so on to make it a positive experience. So just to recap, here are the things that we went over today. One is the general notion that puppies, all animals really, but genetics determine the potential of how sociable with people your puppy will be. It is not moldable at all. But within that range that your puppy has, point number 2 is socialization helps your puppy reach their maximum potential. And that part is up to you. You have the power right now to make your puppy as comfortable with people in the world as possible. And then point number 3 is all of the exercises we worked on are specific to situations where your puppy is being very confident with people or a little cautious or fearful with people. And you need to choose the right skills for your puppy so that that experience they have with a person is as positive and as appropriate as possible. And, just to give some I hope I didn't sound pessimistic through this, because I'm not a pessimistic person in general. And there's nothing wrong with having a puppy or a dog that is not social, in the generic use of the word, with people. It's very normal, kind of like some people are a little introverted, some people are a little extroverted, all normal. Dogs are not just all people loving, you know, fur balls. That's just not realistic. But when a dog is slightly fearful, they can make one of two choices. In a situation where they are fearful, they can either escalate and move forward and aggress, or they can shy away and move away or run away and become evasive. And although we want to strive to help our puppies be as confident and not fearful as possible, by using these training exercises, even if your puppy is more fearful than most, you can teach them to still remain calm and move away rather than aggress. So I hope all of these tips have been really helpful for you guys. And the topic of socialization, especially with people, is an extremely complex topic that I can barely fit into 45 minutes. So if you have any further questions, I am always happy to help. The Humane Society of Western Montana has a free behavior helpline. What this means is our trainers are happy to help you via phone call or email, absolutely for free, if you just contact us. So our email address is behavior@myhswm.org. And we are holding these free behavior and training live streams through the winter, I think at least till the end of March. So every Wednesday is a behavior spotlight. That covers a topic that is fun and functional. We've done nose work, we've done crate training, and really anything can be possible in behavior spotlight, and accessible for puppies too. It's not just for adult dogs. All dogs and their owners can attend. And Thursday nights like tonight is puppy class, where we choose topics that are specific to puppies 8 to 16 weeks of age. All right. As always, if you are feeling generous, if you leave a donation, that money goes to the care of our shelter pets. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you have a lovely evening, and thank you again for joining me tonight.